Drop it on the random.
Welcome to episode 24 of That's What I'm Saying, the podcast about hip hop, entertainment, dating, sex, relationships, and social issues from a sometimes ratchet, but mostly woke perspective. Subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. We're in iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, your mama house, your baby daddy house, your cousin's house. I'm Sean.
I'm Nye. What up, y'all?
And Nye, what are we calling this episode?
Hit it with a left. Hit it with a right. We gonna knock the bitch out like fight night.
Oh, if you know me, know this ain't my feng shui certified.
I just want to put a disclaimer and say we do not promote violence, but we gonna talk about it.
We gonna talk about that shit though. All right. So getting into the ratchet minute. Gotta say something about your girl Omarosa. I think last week we was kind of going for my girl. She was doing her thing, running her mouth about what was going on in the White House. Now it seems that Michael Clark Duncan's family is accusing Omarosa of faking her engagement and changing his will. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so let's call him MCD. His sister Judy Duncan said that, people have been asking her to comment about Omarosa, and this is what she said. And I was like, I'm gonna steal this. She said, "What can I really say about a serpent other than that it's a serpent? I'm not a snake handler, so I stay away." So there's been allegations running, going on, and he's been dead since I think 2013. But seems like a lot of infighting between his family, even though he did have a will. He left the majority of everything to Omarosa, and I don't know what the amount of his estate was worth at the time, but it seems like she got everything. So MCD's sister had said that when he was, he had died of a heart attack. He was in the hospital and, in a coma, and she said that Omarosa was asking about the future of his sperm. In other words, she wanted his sperm. All this kind of crazy stuff that was going on. MCD's homeboy said that, quote, Duncan was never engaged. We were going on a trip to the Dominican Republic. He said, "Man, if I go to the Dominican Republic, if I think once we come back that she's the one, then I may consider that." But he said, "We got to go there just to make sure," because he had other friends. He said, he had quite a few friends. So, go ahead.
Was he going to the Dominican Republic on like a vacation sex tour?
You know them vacations that they take to the DR.
Giving that D in the DR.
Getting that D in the DR. Exactly. I have a story about that. But anyway, what I wanted to tell was, did I tell you about the double date that I had with Omarosa? This was back in the day when, I was around a certain individuals in and around the DC area. Did I tell you that?
No.
All right, so let me just break it down real quick. So this was, and I wasn't a watcher of whatever show that she was on, the Apprentice.
Yeah.
So, but I'm thinking it was kind of like around that time because people knew her. So anyway, she was dating a friend of mine he was like, I guess, running for some kind of office. So, kind of needed her to, the whole thing. So we went out in DC. We went to this club. I think it was Republic Gardens. So she was just so, remember Republic Gardens? She was, no, not Republic Gardens. It was, the park. So she was just very extra. So I was with, my homeboy, and we laughed at her the whole night because she was so extra. So the friend of ours that she was there with, I guess he had enough and he left her. So we're in the club, kind of like babysitting her. And so she comes back because she's looking for, her date. And he already told us he's leaving, he's out, had enough. He had to do whatever he had to do. So she comes back. And I remember she had on a leopard dress. And she was like very oiled up, very Vaselined up around her chest area. And she had on a mink coat. So when she comes back and she's asking us, like, where did so-and-so go? And we're like, he left. And she goes, in the middle of the dance floor for everybody to see, she's like, "I don't understand why he left all this." And she dropped her mink coat on the floor in the middle of the dance floor. When I tell you, I died. I laughed so hard because it was so dramatic. So That was my story on Omarosa.
So how was it a blind date for her?
No, she was dating you I think you know who I'm talking about. She was dating him for a quick minute. So we had kind of all, went out to DC, and I think it was probably during the Black Caucus. So you know how that is.
Okay.
Lot of bougie black people coming together. So, she made an entrance. She was there and she was very dramatic. I just remember that. She dropped that coat to the floor, was like, and he left all of this. Woo. Okay. All right. Moving on. Are we moving on?
Yeah, we moving on.
All right. So, I wanted to talk about your girl, man, Miss Lauryn Hill. again with the shits. I'm sick of this. So, according to so I'm a follower of Santi Gold. I don't know if do you like Santi Gold? I love her music.
Pretty dope. Yeah.
Love her music. So she's one artist that I need to see live. I've actually never seen one of her shows, and I follow and I look and I can never find out where she is, or I'm always missing the show. But that's something I want to do. That's on my bucket list. But anyway, so several artists, including Santiago, Nas, and SZA, and Dave Chappelle, they were all slated to perform for Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the 20th anniversary tour. But it looks like that won't be happening, as most of these performers that I just named were cut from the final roster. So the cancellation came as a surprise to friends. It was supposed to be as a surprise to fans, who were told that there were production issues. So I was reading Santiago's Instagram page. So she responded, to people who were asking, like, hey, what the deal? They spent money. She says, quote, nope, not sick. So sorry. I wasn't able to perform for you all. Note, I saw from Miss Lauryn Hill's management team, which read, due to production issues, the Miseducation 20th anniversary tour is unable to accommodate Santiago's performance this evening. And so Santiago sent out the reply to Nas. She said, I'm so sorry you all paid to see us and we're not there. That really bums me out. I'm also bummed that Miss Lauryn Hill's crew didn't tell people why we're not there. She just took them off the bill. So what do you think about that?
Girl, I am so over Miss Lauryn Hill. I am completely over her. I'm so disgusted, and I'm just so to me, I just feel like she could have just had a super, super long career based off of one album. It was a classic album, and she's just tarnishing her legacy right now. She's screwing up her own legacy, and I just don't understand. I don't understand. She needs to get whatever she got going on together, because she's alienating herself from all of her friends, all of her fans, all of her industry friends. I don't know who she's going to have left.
Yeah, I don't know. When I heard it sounded like she fired Nas, or he's off the tour. Like, girl, what's going on?
I don't know how she did that to my. Well, I need to say. Little side note: me and Nas are back together. I know you don't, but okay. We're working this out. So I don't know why she did that.
One day at a time. One day at a time.
She's in therapy. We're good now.
Oh Lord. That 7-page rant on Instagram did it for you, huh?
He just celebrated his 45th birthday. He looks so fine.
Okay, goodbye, girl.
He looks so delightful. I just,
Anyway. I can't. Okay. Yeah, but your girl Lauryn, just bring it back. Can we bring it back to Lauryn?
I'm off her.
You're off her. Okay, I'm off that. All right, I'm off that too. What are we on then?
I don't know. What are we on? Anyway.
Offset's baby mama.
Oh yeah. So this, man, I know everyone's talking about this. This Cardi B and Nicki Minaj fight.
Lord of mercy.
What happened in the Met Gala?
Lord Jesus. I don't think they were at the Met Gala, but whatever it was.
Something like that. It was something during Fashion Week. I don't know.
It was during Fashion Week. Did you see the picture of Cardi? Because they showed it where it was her dress was ripped from the waist down.
Yeah.
She had on her white panties.
Yeah. So apparently there has been a long feud going on between them. They've been doing little sub disses on each other on their records, and every time you ask Cardi about it, she's real hush about it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just here to do my music. So she never really acknowledged it. But this fight said she don't fuck with that bitch.
Who don't fuck with who, bitch?
They don't fuck with each other, but
They
Cardi,
don't fuck with each other.
you don't fuck.
You know, I felt like that was a backward step for black women. Just a little. Did you not? I just felt like, man, that two step took a step back
You
when
know
they
what?
did that.
I kind of, I honestly don't condone violence. I don't. I'm not a fighter. I
Hit
don't.
it with a left, hit it with a right. Now go
I
ahead.
don't. I don't condone. I don't condone violence, especially from grown women. You know. So, but on one hand, it's really interesting how this whole thing played out in the media, and so this happened at the same time that Serena had
Yeah.
her back and forth with the umpire. And these are two black women who are in sticky situations who reacted very differently, but still got the same reaction in the media. So
Very true.
Cardi,
Mhm.
went out and attack Nicki Minaj, and people are saying she's tarnishing her image. She shouldn't be fighting. It's not how women should act. Serena used her words, very elegant words, to this man and told her how she felt and demanded an apology. And she's also characterized as an angry black woman. So it's like, how do you win? Do you fight or do you talk it
Mhm.
out? How you win this? How you win this in life being a black woman?
Very interesting. I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah.
And I just I still I'm not I don't condone. Let me stop. Sometimes I condone violence, but no.
Sometimes you really just want to knock a bitch out. And sometimes talking doesn't work. Sometimes your words don't work. And sometimes a bitch gotta get knocked out. But I think that should be like your very, very last, resort.
Yeah, I do believe there's a time and a place for everything, and these women make money off of their words.
Mm-hmm.
There should have been something, you put pen to paper, do something, freestyle that shit on the radio. But getting in those types of atmospheres, and you just became a mother, Cardi. I just I'm all about black love, and I'm about women first. Like, we got to support each other.
But
It just
I understand like the frustration Cardi probably feels because Nikki is the kind of person, she's very passive aggressive. She's not going to say anything to your face, and she's the kind of person that will throw stones at you, and then when you look up, she hiding her hands like she didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? So, Nikki
Mhm.
probably deserves to get her ass beat. Should she have done it at that particular moment? No, but Nikki probably deserves a good ass whipping.
You think so? I don't.
We
Um,
just talked about all the shit she keeps doing to Lil Kim. How she like,
she biting her style. That's, to me, that's a little different.
but
I
no,
don't know.
but this is why she's doing it. So I don't know if you know the history of Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim, but they were kind of friends in the beginning. But they years ago, Little Kim was supposed to get signed to Cash Money. They
Mhm.
chose Nicki instead. So
Oh.
there's a lot going on with this Little Kim and this Nicki Minaj beef. And then I also hear, I don't know all the details of this, but it also has to do with a man, some guy that Kim was dating that Nicki kind of started getting with. So Nicki is real conniving. So to me, that's why when I did the Instagram post, I'm like, is this flattery or being spiteful? Because she knows Little Kim does not fuck with her, and Little Kim is vocal. If you listen to these interviews, Little Kim has, sometimes she won't even address it, but sometimes she goes in like, I don't fuck with her. So if you have somebody that you're like, I don't fuck with her at all, but
It's
then
something.
bitch is like copying every single thing you do, you're gonna get annoyed. That's
Mhm.
annoying. You know what I mean? So, and the thing that I don't understand about Nicki is that, I mean, I'm not a super Nicki fan. I do like some of her songs, but she's talented. She can fucking rap
Mhm.
her ass off. You know what I mean? She got the talent.
Absolutely.
He says she writes her own rhymes, and I believe she writes her own rhymes. So I mean, she's hella talented, and I just don't. But with that talent, she's so freaking insecure.
Yeah.
She's also sabotaging her legacy, because I think she can have a long, even outside of this whole hip hop career. She has built such a platform and such a big following. She can do so much other stuff that's outside of hip hop. But I,
Right.
like her insecurities, and I think it's just taking over, and it could
I can
damage
see
her
that.
reputation.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
we gonna see. In the words of the great Drake, we gonna see.
But at the same, there was another story that came out during Fashion Week, and I can't find any photos. I can't find any real meat to the story, but I hear that Mary J and Faith Evans got into it too. Got into a little rumble at a party that Puffy had in the Hamptons.
I heard about that. That was back in the day, right?
No, I heard this happen. No, I heard this happen over Fashion Week. This, last week, 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
So it's 2 old school bitches fighting, two new school bitches fighting. All the bitches is fighting.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
Girl, can you imagine being at an event and there's 2 fucking 50-year-old bitches in there fighting?
Throwing down.
Girl,
I don't know. I got my money on Mary J.
Girl, this is some old brown looking and cigarettes fighting.
All day.
Babe, you don't want no parts of Mary J. I think Mary will tear you up.
That's what I said. I got my money is on Mary J. All day.
Anyway, we don't come up.
She had that cut under her eye that to this day nobody know how that shit happened.
You might slice her.
What? So,
you know how it happened. But like we said before, we don't condone violence, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna laugh on it.
Yep, I'm pull up a seat right in front too. It's like, is the coast clear? No, all right now. Y'all keep that over there, but I'm watching.
Don't hit me. Please don't hit me. I bruise very easily. Don't hit me.
Oh God. All right. What else we got?
Oh, let's bring this down. We're being stupid. Bitches is running up and getting done up.
Punks jump up to get beat down. Ain't nothing but a beat down.
Girl, this is hilarious. Anyway.
Oh, all right. Are we in the woke minute?
Yeah.
So okay. I'm so not ready to be woke. But it must come to this. All right. I wanted to talk about Botham Jean. He's a 26-year-old who shot inside his own apartment a couple weeks ago by off-duty police officer Amber Geiger. I actually knew an Amber Geiger growing up, so it's weird to see this name again. So, this has been one politically and racially charged last 2 weeks. There's just been so many different events, but this one, of course, there's not a person that we know that hasn't heard about this. So Geiger has been charged with manslaughter. But the great thing is that her case is now headed to a grand jury. So they could actually, if they do the right thing, will bump up the charges to murder, which is where she needs to be. So according to the arrest warrant, Geiger told investigators that she went to what she thought was her 3rd floor apartment. Instead, she went to John's 4th floor apartment, which was directly above hers. She says that the door was ajar and she saw, quote unquote, a large silhouette inside. So after giving what she says were verbal commandments that were ignored, she fired her handgun twice, striking John once in the torso. It wasn't until she turned on the lights and called 911 that she realized she was at the wrong apartment. So that's the BS they've been pushing this whole story. Sounds like she was maybe a Texas Ranger, because it looks like they're doing their own investigation and they haven't said what they find or what they are where it's going with this. I've seen pictures on the internet of this woman and her family, and supposedly they're holding up white supremacist signs. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's like the upside down okay, which supposedly is this white supremacist indicator. So I've seen pictures, and I don't know if they were doctored or not, but it looks like she had relatives that were holding up these signs. I'm telling you, like, these people, I had a conversation on Twitter a couple of days ago, where it was a similar situation, and these people are this racist, the racist racism in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. It's so blatant now, like it's so out and out, so just watching this case to find out, how far it's going to go. I mean, charging her with manslaughter is nothing. She'll be out and done with. Meanwhile, this man, I think they buried him last Thursday. But when will this end? I just, to hear the facts of this case, it's like, I don't even get it. Like, now you're not even safe in your own home.
So the story of her getting off on the wrong floor, so I live in an apartment building, and sometimes I'm not paying attention and I will get off on the wrong floor. But the minute I get off on the floor, I'm like, this is not my floor. Like, it just doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't buy that. And I don't buy that his door was open. And I did read that some neighbors heard her pounding on his door.
Yeah, and that they heard him say, "Why did you do that?" Mm-hmm. So I heard that too.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so fucking tired of these damn stories. I'm so sick of these stories. The police department. I know we talked about like the history of the police and how they came about, but we're hundreds and hundreds of years away from that. The process of selecting police officers needs to be changed. Like that.
Exactly.
The foundation of the police force just needs to be, cleansed and reformatted, because right now I think it's so corrupt. It's full of racists. It's full of, these cops who are, not to change the subject, but, these cops in New York were just, they just found they were running a prostitution and gambling ring.
I saw that. Mm-hmm.
These are people that are supposed to protect you.
Protect and serve. I told you that I firmly believe that a part of the process in becoming a police officer, I believe that they encourage sociopaths to become police officers. I fight me on it. Y'all can at me on it, all kind of stuff. But I think that it's like an unspoken, they look for that because you need someone to act, sometimes irrationally at a moment's notice. You need them to act. And who is that going to be other than someone who's so calculated that their real personality, you don't even know who they really are because they're careful in covering it up. Those are the type of people that usually the police force, they choose. So now, you deal with the effects. Like this woman, so you mean to tell me? They haven't said, they never searched her apartment. They haven't said, whether there were drugs and alcohol involved, because I'm still trying to understand how you get off on the whole wrong floor and go to the door and then with guns drawn.
Yep.
Really?
And they're in the process now of making him into a criminal, saying they found weed in his apartment.
Sickness. The sickening sickness of it all.
I'm like, if something happened to me and you searched my apartment, you would think, girl, there's like some questionable shit on my search engine on my computer.
But what does it have to do with me getting shot and killed in my own apartment by the police?
You can take pieces of people's lives and distort it to whatever you think. So you can look on my computer, see what I've been searching, like, geez, this girl's crazy. She's weird. She's into, whatever. Or you can find, I got a whole stash of liquor in my, my kitchen. She's an alcoholic. Like you can skew the story any way you want to just by picking out.
Come in here and find my weed tea. What does that say?
You know what I'm saying?
I just that to me is like the sickening, sick part of this all. Like, I don't fucking care what this man had in his cupboard. You know what I'm saying? Like under the bed, wherever. Doesn't matter. He's dead. He's gone.
Make this victim into a criminal.
It's that is the sickest sickening part of this whole thing. But I'm telling you, there's a war going on, not coming. There is a war going on.
Yeah.
And I was saying this on social media, because people are like, well, what war? Like who? I'm telling you, there are people. There's a segment of white society who believe that they've been disempowered, financially they've gone down, and they point all of their woes to the other, whoever the other is blacks, minorities, anybody other than them.
And the the ironic part of that is the reason why these white people are suppressed is because elite white people are suppressing you.
Thank you. And if you stupid, you can't figure that out and you don't understand that, because even they distance themselves from y'all. But you got but they need y'all to vote. That's why that whole MAGA, make America great again, and all this, like, all that rhetoric is directed at y'all, but really you've already been disenfranchised from your own people.
Yeah.
Your own white people. So white supremacists, it's like a joke, because usually those are the ones who are, like I said, the most disenfranchised from their own people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they figure that the way to regain that power and make themselves the hero again in their own twisted, stupid ass narrative is to pick up a gun and just go for what you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. I'm telling you, like, it's a war. And how do you fight a war of ideology, like a war against ideology? It's damn near impossible, because you're talking about changing the way that people think so that affects change.
Mm-hmm. Which is very hard to do.
I don't see it happening. As someone said, I had this conversation before, and they were like, you basically just have to wait for those people to die and start all over, and hopefully start over with the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And teach the truth to the youth.
Yeah.
teach them so that this doesn't repeat. It's like you gotta throw them all away. Unfortunately, this is almost the sentiment of the whole Trump administration, the whole thing, which is kind of like throw everything away and and make a disaster out of everything and just start over again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's danger in that way of thinking too. But I don't know how you do this. I'm just like, I'm watching this whole thing. Rest in peace, Botham Jean. This is a tragedy. It should have never happened to you. I'm looking at this to find out how are we going to deal with this? How is this going to move forward with this woman? Who basically came in and murdered this young man.
Mm-hmm. While he was in his home. If you're not safe in your own home, then where can you be safe?
That's the scare. I mean, it just. I don't like that. I don't like it. So, all right. Moving on. We have something. I was gonna talk about Tamar Braxton and her admission on Wendy Williams that she was sexually abused multiple times by multiple family members.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Okay, we can move on. I definitely don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
We can move on. So on a lighter note,
okay, what you got?
A little bit for a minute. So John Legend, who is not really my favorite singer, I actually kind of borderline hate him.
However, man, I'm checking out. I'm just joking.
However, I do want to recognize him because he just received the EGOT status, and not too many people have achieved this. Only 16 people in I guess in the U.S. or the world has achieved this, and he's the second Black person. Whoopi is the first Black person. So to get that status, you need to win an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony, which I think is amazing. I think it's really, really amazing. So I kind of wanted to give him a shout out. Even I'm not a fan of his. He's a great singer if you like that kind of singing.
Man, I never trust a man with hips. Okay. With big hips.
Not only does he have hips, he has a booty, like a round, like
and a shelf or shelf booty.
Round basketball
with a shelf booty and big hips.
Yeah, but congrats to him. So, yay, John. There you go.
All right, yay. He makes me go to sleep. I don't want to listen to John Legend and drive a car because I feel like I will fall asleep.
I saw him in concert years ago.
Why?
It just wasn't him. It was a Sade concert, and he was opening.
Wow!
And it was just the weirdest thing because he's very sleepy. His songs are very sleepy and very drowsy. But he had like hype backup dancers. I'm like, who put this together? Because this is weird.
Someone who heard us talking about it, like, Lord, he will put you to sleep.
Girl, he is playing the piano and he got fucking hip hop dancers on stage. So like, what is going on here? This is weird.
Ooh.
At the moment, this is kind of when he first came out, and I wasn't too sure if I liked him, but that just made me know that I didn't like him.
Mm-mm. I call him hippie because he got hips.
Girl, that was a meme that went around. He was at the beach with his wife. I forget her name, and and they said John is so sweet. He's carrying his wife's booty for her.
I saw that.
She has no booty. She's like flat as a pancake, and his booty
All the booty.
is so round. So
oh my goodness, this was supposed to be woke. What happened?
And they said there's a myth. I don't know if this myth is true, but they said men with big booties have small penises. So. Girl, I was gonna say I took a Motrin PM and I feel so elevated right now.
Really? Okay, well, we gotta come on. You gotta get through this because you was about to drop knowledge. I'm so ready for this. Are you ready?
Get myself together. All right. So okay, so shout out to John Legend. Congrats.
All right, congrats.
All right. So this article, there's an article that I read on Facebook a few weeks ago, and the title of it was Iceland Cures Down Syndrome. And that piqued my attention because I have my cousin has a son with Down syndrome. So I'm like, there's a cure for this. So I'm reading this article. So the article reads, during the summer and fall of 2017, we learned that countries were curing Down syndrome. And I'm reading this article, and that's not really the case. What they're doing is using prenatal screening and genetic counseling to find out if your baby is, I think they have a missing chromosome. Syndrome. And if you find that, your baby has this missing chromosome, they are advising you to terminate the pregnancy. So really, they're not curing anything. It's really like a purging more than a cure, which is interesting because this method of purging or eradicating has been used throughout history. It actually happened in Germany before the Holocaust. What they would do is they would find these babies and these kids or people who had like cognitive impairment and other disabilities, and they would put them all together and they would kill them. They were called useless eaters, and they were killed by the Nazis. And not only has Germany used this, the U.S. has done this as well throughout history. And it's been noted. I don't know if you know the history of Planned Parenthood, Sean. Have you read up on this?
Well, you gonna tell me?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. So, Margaret Sanger, who's the founder of Planned Parenthood, she was really like the initial reason behind Planned Parenthood was to eliminate African Americans. So she set up clinics in Black neighborhoods all over, like down south, and she aligned herself with people like W.E.B. Du Bois and set up these clinics. And all these clinics were staffed with like Black doctors and nurses. Mm-hmm. And really, what she wanted to do was to promote abortion, to kill these Black kids, Black babies before they were even born. And during a couple years ago, during that whole Ben Carson was running for president, and it's interesting because Ben Carson kind of goes back and forth on like, are you for Black people or you're not for Black people? Mm-hmm. But during this run, he actually quoted saying that, she believed that people like him would be eliminated. So I was reading.
He said that?
Yeah, he said that.
Wow.
And also Herman Cain, who's also a Black politician from down south, who is a part of the Tea Party, interestingly enough. He was also a candidate during the 2012 campaign run for president. He also said that, her original goal was to kill Black babies before they came into the world. What? And yeah. So there was a letter that she wrote back in 1939, which outlined her plan to reach out to these Black leaders, specifically to ministers. I just want to say that, specifically to ministers, to help dispel community suspicions about family planning clinics that she was opening down south. So this eugenic thing has been going on for a long time. And a few years ago, I'd heard a little bit about a eugenics program that was happening in North Carolina. And so I did a little bit of research. So back in 1902, the Winston-Salem Journal published a 5-part series on North Carolina's eugenics program called State of Eugenics. And what they were doing, they were telling women who were on public assistance, if they didn't get sterilized, their assistance will be taken away from them. And between the years of 1933 and 1974, about 7,600 women North Carolinians were sterilized, and 77% were women. And get this, 2,000 of them were 18 years and younger. They were sterilizing kids,
young girls,
kids. And actually, before the 1960s, poor rural white girls were the primary target. And, segregation did a lot for us. And with this particular thing, segregation inadvertently protected Black women because they didn't have access to white healthcare institutions. So when integration came and Black women were gaining access to these white healthcare systems, then they became the significant percentage of these eugenics programs.
Wow.
And this was done not only in North Carolina, this was done in like 30 states, including California, which California is like, progressive state, but they enacted similar programs, and all of these programs were federally funded by the government, and it was aimed at population control and championed as a way to help quote unquote marginalized people. They targeted poor people with disabilities, and immigrants. So a lot of like the immigrants that came from South America were also part of this whole eugenics movement. Back in 1970, one of the victims of this, Nile Cox Ramirez, she filed a lawsuit and successfully shut down the program in North Carolina. And she was represented by the famous Gloria Steinem, who champions a lot of women's issues and a lot of women's rights. And there was compensation that was given to the victims. I don't know exactly how much, and that happened like years later after the whole trial. So, the eugenics and eradicating people, different segments of the population is nothing new. It's been going on for a very, very long time. And honestly, I know this is like very controversial, but this is it's part of the reason why I don't take like flu shots and all that kind of stuff. You just don't know what the fuck that's in there. Because I know you heard of like this the Tuskegee experiment.
Of course.
Yeah.
And Henrietta Lacks and
they're injecting these men with syphilis. And these men are going blind, and these men are dying and transmitting this over to their wives and stuff. The whole medical thing, and
I don't know.
And this is why a lot of older Black people and young Black people, or Black people in general, they just have a huge mistrust of the medical industry.
Yeah. I don't know, just kind of off topic, but kind of on. I remember when I was having my son, and the whole thing with stem cell research is really big now, but a lot of the genetic material that they need, it's in the it comes from the what is that? The
placenta?
From the placenta, right? So and that it's very rich in that, but then that's also very rich in DNA too. So when I just remember that was a big thing. It was what are you going to do with your placenta once you have this child? And girl, I had to sign papers. It was a big thing to because they wanted it for research. So my choice was to do away with it, not to have it available for and they taught it the whole you donating it to science, you can do all this, but I'm like, no, y'all be over here creating a whole nother child of mine. I just but I'm it's causing me to think about that. Like I was very leery of the whole thing, just even going in and having having the child, because they want all of that. They want all of that. Another thing is the genetic testing, that it does happen. They give you an opportunity to test. You're testing for chromosomes, you're testing for genetic diseases, and then the choice becomes, well, if there is something that they find, do you want to carry that child a full term? And I don't know how I necessarily feel about that. Just giving that choice. I know in Iceland, what they're saying is they're giving these women a choice. And they're giving the information, and based on the information that that woman is armed with, once she knows, that that child has some sort of genetic, mutation or something, then they're saying that the numbers are so high that these women are aborting those babies. But I don't know how I feel about
I
just
don't know either,
being given that choice.
for a couple different reasons, but how do you even know that the results of the test are accurate?
Exactly.
You
You
know.
know, and it's the same thing that I say about DNA tests. Just because the lab said that this 99.99%, how do you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to change an A to a B on a on a test.
Uh-huh.
It's
And
not that difficult.
a lot of people are running to get their DNA test to see where they're from in Africa or wherever, see what their DNA mix is.
Mhm.
And I actually did it myself, and then after I did it, I thought about
Thought
it.
about it, right? Same here. I thought about it, like,
That you have a, a large portion of a population, a disenfranchised population, is volunteering their DNA to get tested. You know what can be done with this DNA?
I told you, but make a whole nother person go out here and work in the field.
Make a whole person or get rid of a whole race of people
Yep.
through disease.
I mean, you think about the whole proliferation of AIDS and how that came about. You can't tell. They try. Oh, it came from monkeys. Like, no, that came from a lab.
Yep.
That's a whole nother that's a whole nother podcast. We get into that. But yeah, this is just this. I mean, you got to stay woke. You got to know what's going on. I didn't even know half of this. When you were talking about Niall Cox Ramirez, I didn't even know that that was an actual a case that she won.
Yeah.
Going against Planned Parenthood. Who did she sue?
No, it wasn't Planned Parenthood. She went against North Carolina. Planned Parenthood happened, a few years before, but this was something different where they were federally funded programs that were sterilizing these women.
Oh my goodness!
Assistance, they threatened to take that away.
Mm-hmm.
When I initially read this article, because I read this article weeks ago, and I was gonna talk about it, but I was like, I have to do some more research because I know there's other cases of eugenics happening in the United States, and I wanted to talk about it. But this is it's been going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I would like to actually revisit this again. I think we can spend some more time doing another podcast and spend some time on this, because this is definitely a woke topic, and we need to understand the history of it and what's going on today. So I definitely want to revisit this.
You definitely can do that.
Cool. But for now, I'm off for some Weekend D.
All right, you can do it. Let's do it.
Weekend D. All right. So this week is my Weekend D report. It's a little bit different. So I read a headline. Former Pistons player goes on TV to tell his wife he has slept with 341 women. So Detroit Pistons center Jason Maxiell, he actually played for the Pistons for a while, and I know he went overseas and came back and whatever. So he and his wife Brandy went on Iyanla, aka Rhonda's show, and said that in addition to his sound like he has a drinking problem, that he just kind of blurted out that he has slept with 341 women. So I saw the piece of the interview. So his wife, she actually thought that it was 8 women that he slept with during the marriage. She had no, it went up to 50. She had no idea it was in the hundreds. So I have a quote from her. She said, after this all came out, because it looks like they taped the show a year ago and it just came out on OWN. She said, I would like to say I'm more frustrated with him blurting out a number to the world without no regard for my feelings. She from the hood. 8 put a damper on our relationship, and I was willing to work on it. Over 50 tore it down. So he done did multiples of 50. So my question for you all and for you, Nye, is, do you want to know your significant other's body count? Do you want to know that information?
No, I don't want to know. However, I do want to know if we are if we're somewhere where there are women that you have been with, I do want to know that who these women are. But I don't need to know how many women you've been with. I think we all realize we have a past. You know, we all been with other people. So you're not my first. I'm not a virgin. I know he's not a virgin. So I don't need to know all the gory details and who you slept with. But you can keep that to yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think just in watching that interview with Maxie's wife, Brandy, she wanted to know the number. She wanted to know. Kind of sounds like there was obviously there was some cheating going on during the marriage, but was a question she probably asked him, like, well, how many is it? And he gave her a number 8. So to go from 8 to 341 would.
Now, like I said before, I don't promote violence, but I do believe sometimes you gotta knock a bitch out, and this bitch need to be knocked the fuck out.
And there's a whole black market for guns. I'm just saying. Good Lord.
I'm already like leery of people already, and of men. And 341. You know how much bodily fluid that is? You didn't brought.
Ooh.
That's disgusted. And
because if you can keep track of, if you just real talk, like you can, if you slip up and there's no condom, you can keep track, right? You kind of that time. Mm-hmm. But how you gonna keep track with 341?
Yeah, it is impossible to keep track of that. And he was you say he was a football player?
No, girl. He played for the Detroit Pistons. He's an NBA basketball player.
Well, he's a sports figure. He's famous. He plays sports. So 341 women. I think it's probably more than that, because that's low for someone who is like, who played for a national team like that.
But during his marriage, we only talking about a period. I think they've been married. She was his high school sweetheart. It looks like they've been married for what, 20? I don't know, less than 20 years. So. I'm probably talking about a married man. He's just talking about his married man body count. 341.
I still think it's more than that, but whether it's 1 or 341, it's too much. It's way too much. And
that's something I don't ever want to know. I agree with you. Like, we all have a past. Mm-hmm. There used to be a time back in the day, I have a little journal and I would keep my little body count on the back page and write the names in script that only I could read. Right. But as you get older, you stop counting. I know I do. For what? So right. Don't ask me, because I'm not going to tell you, and I'm not going to ask you unless, as you said, if I do feel like, if we are, intimate at this particular time, I kind of want to know, okay, are you dealing with somebody else? Like, it's right now. But I don't want to know the whole history. I don't want to know, BC back in those times.
Yeah.
What you've been dicking down. It's really none of my business. If you get tested and you're good, mm-hmm. I don't want to know, because we all got bones. Yep. We all got bones.
And I always joke about being in love with Nas, but in all honesty, I could never be with a Nas. I could never be with anyone famous, because of all the women that throw themselves at them. I just think it's hard for a man who has that kind of stature to be.
Yeah, he said he loved pussy. I believe him.
I ain't built for that. I'm not built for.
I don't think it's your feelings be in their feelings. I don't
be in their feelings. I will fucking kill somebody. I probably would end up in jail, because I would not be able to control my feelings. I know it. I could. So one person you cheating with. Oh, nigga, you getting cut. You get cut again. 341, you must die. Because when I see 341 women, I see you don't fucking care about my health. These women could have any diseases. You don't care about my health. If we have kids, you don't care about your kids' health. You have no regard for us. This is very selfish.
Yeah, that's what, good old Rhonda, aka Yana, she said, every time you have sex with these women, you abandon you. I was like, ooh, that's true. Mm-hmm. You abandon your family, you abandon yourself. You do. You look, and I've been on the other end of that. Like, dude, you just over here just giving out dick for free. Mm-hmm. Just, it's like a lost and found sign on the corner, and everybody coming like,
You got community penis. You just giving your penis out to the community. Community service.
Yep, just dicking down, dicking down for $1 or less.
That were married and their spouses, their husbands, cheated, and not only cheated but got the other woman pregnant. Man,
that means like, look, don't eat some motherfucking sun. Which reminds me of the episode. Did you see Insecure?
Where today?
No, the last one with the carousel on the Ferris wheel. I mean,
so I had a conversation about this too. About where's y'all's condoms at?
That's what I said. I want to know. Eat some motherfucking sun. Where is that damn condom? I didn't see it being pulled out. Ain't nothing sexy about it. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on.
I get it. I ain't a huge fan of condoms, but I'm definitely not a huge fan of STD. So you must pull it out.
I'm good. That scares me so much. Oh no. Yeah. As good as it can be, as great as that feeling, I believe, I believe it, because that feeling is different.
It is different. And condoms, they have a smell that I cannot fucking stand. Some condoms have
it's like a plasticky rubber smell.
It's gross. I can't stand that smell. Oh, I can't. And sometimes condoms they can irritate you. So
yeah,
I don't really like using condoms, but it's a must. You got to.
Unless, no, let me stop.
And I was gonna say unless you marry, but look, this bitch.
No, that shit don't look. I'm here to tell you, I'm living proof. That shit don't matter. What? Married? Throw that shit out the window. What? A nigga will throw his whole life out the window for some ass. Married or not. Okay? Married or not. Okay. All right. We got to move on. But that was a good one. So yeah, the moral of the story is don't ask, don't tell.
Exactly. Don't ask, don't tell.
You should not have never.
I was actually really funny. I was actually tempted to ask a guy before because I was really curious because of the not. I sound like what I'm about to say makes it sound like he's a sex worker, but he's not. But the industry that he was in, he was like a party promoter or whatever, like back in. So I'm like, I know bitches be throwing it at parties. I know they be fucking everybody. So I was just curious to know how many women he's been with, but I didn't.
Didn't ask him.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think I've never asked. I've wanted to ask one particular person, but I didn't want, because I didn't really want to know. That's why I didn't ask.
My ex asked me before when we first started.
Yeah, don't you all look? And I mean, do you ever tell the truth?
I did.
My number is always 3. 3. Go away.
I kind of told the truth, and he didn't like it though.
See, and that's why. Like, why? Why tell the truth?
But that's
by the way, I'm gonna hurt your feelings.
It's so young to ask that. Like, I feel like that's like something.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, when I was younger, I had my little pink diary with Hello Kitty on it. And I would write it in the back. And then after a while,
his names. All that shit happened in my 20s, y'all. Disclaimer: it happened in my 20s.
I had the time of my life. Time of my life.
I lived it up. I lived it up in my 20s.
Ooh, boy, that's what I was like, man. You need to
tell about.
You can't even keep this list no more. Don't even make no sense. Get depressed every time you look at it.
I don't even know what they look like.
I was trying for a while, like I was trying to like remember everyone, but like after a while, like I don't even remember, dude. Ain't nobody, And then I used to highlight the ones that was like, man, this shit was memorable. Then I started scoring them.
Oh, shit.
A mess. I had a whole like rate 1 to 5. Look, but that's some shit. Yeah, I was like in my 20s. You young, do some shit like that. Now, like, man, I don't know. we good. We grown up in here. We good. All right, okay. We gotta move on.
Moving on.
So where are we?
We leaving that topic in the past, like we leave our whole past in the past.
Hoe is life.
We reformed hoes. Y'all, I'm joking.
And you know what? I'm listening. I'm like, I know who I am, so it's all good. Like, we all got a past. It's the shit when you run away from it. Like, no, I used to be scared of the dick. Look, Lil Kim, I still worship Lil Kim with that shit. I know exactly what you mean,
I
boo.
was listening to Lil Kim, and this takes me to my reminisce. I was listening to MC Light and Lil Kim so hard this weekend. Oh my God, they were just on my soul all weekend.
Yes.
So this moves right into the I reminisce. So this week's song I chose Light as a Rock because this was the 30th anniversary of this album coming out.
Yay.
This came out in 1988.
Good Lord.
Lord have mercy. But MC Light, my two favorite female MC is MC Light and Lil Kim. I love them all fucking day long.
All day.
So I chose 2% Diss off of Light as a Rock because of this one line.
Is it 10%?
Yeah, it's 10%. Girl, you messed me up. 10% Diss.
I messed you up when you said it wrong.
I said 10% Diss.
I heard 2%.
No,
like milk. like low fat milk. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway. Hot damn hole, here we go again. Light as a rock, hot as a top, bitch. So, yes! Sampled that for Quiet Storm. But originally it was on 10% Diss, and it was like, hot damn hole, here we go again. Stuck to still a beat when you know you can win. You stole a beat and you're having fun. Now me and all's gonna have. Oh, I messed that up. Now me and I was done. I want to be a rapper so bad, but I cannot.
I know you do. We gotta really do our video. We're gonna do a video. We're gonna do like an old school mashup. But anyway.
So this song, I chose this song too because MC Light is like one of my favorite MCs. But also
she was on Power. Did you see the last episode of Power?
I did. She was a little. Yep. So I chose this song because I love MC Light. I chose it because Cardi B and this whole Nicki Minaj beef. I chose it because them old brown looking cigarette bitches was fighting. Anyway, so this song was aimed at. You remember Antoinette?
Yep.
So this
back
was
in the day.
We had a little beef going on because MC Light said that Antoinette's first single, I Got an Attitude, sounded too much like Top Billin' by Audio 2, which were MC Light's brothers. So they had this little beef going on. So that's why I chose this song. And one of the
don't stop, take her, tell it to your face, you ain't nothing but a faker. That was my shit.
That is my shit. So that's why I chose this. 10% Diss.
Yeah.
Reminisce.
That was the shit. Beat fighter, don't stop, take her, tell it to your face, you ain't nothing but a faker. I love MC Light. So she was always, she still is like one of my favorite. I still listen to it. Still listen to her.
Yeah. I've never seen her in concert. They had the Queens of Hip Hop tour that I really want to go to, but they had a couple of tour stops. But I don't know if they have any more tour dates. But I want to see MC Light so bad. I've never seen her.
She's another one. I've actually never seen her in concert. That's right. Never seen her.
That's right. I got a lot of stuff on my bucket list, and that's one of them. At least one.
You've been talking about this bucket list. I think I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna write one up.
I keep adding shit I never even like. This week I just added go to a boxing match. I
did.
Yeah, I just added.
I'm for that. I'm for it. Even though I've been to plenty and a Mayweather fight, but yeah, that's an experience. Definitely put that on. All right, we gotta look. We have now come to the Support Black Businesses segment of the show where we highlight a Black business. We believe in growing our economy and strengthening our communities, and we desire to build awareness of products and services that are sold for us by us. So this week, I'm highlighting Freeman Capital. It actually provides online wealth management trading programs. It's AI driven. So it's based in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It was started by Calvin Williams, who's a former trader. I've listened to plenty of interviews of his. I'm actually involved with Freeman Capital, but one of the things that he said is that he had started out, he had like a tech company, and then he got bought out, and he had some money that he wanted to invest. So he went to, of course, you know, probably the big three investors, and they told him that he did not have enough money. He thought he did, but evidently it wasn't enough. So based on that information, he started his own wealth management company. It's named after his grandparents. That's Evelyn and George Freeman. One of the great things about the platform is that it teaches asset classes. It's rolled out futures, and it's actually getting into stocks and bonds. I think one of the great things about it is that it has a Forex trading program. I don't know if you know anything about Forex. But the good thing about the program that they offer is that you can get in with as little as $500, which is like unheard of. So Freeman Capital, it's freemancapital.co. That is the website. So yes, that is the support for the Black business that we are doing. What you think?
All right, I support it.
Okay. All right. Well, we've come to the end. I want to know. I still got to watch the Bobby Brown movie.
Oh, I watched it.
Don't tell me to watch it. Okay. All right. But we've actually come to the end of That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. So you can subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. We're in Apple Podcast app, Google Play, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and Stitcher, CastPod, which is uber convenient. Also CastBox. We're somewhere else. I got to figure out where I'm going to do it next time. Anyway, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Visit That's What I'm Saying podcast.com to learn more. Send us questions and comments. And Nye, who are we shouting out?
Always and forever, we are shouting out Vegas World Inc. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Twitter. Vegas World Inc. He's our super duper producer, and he's my ghostwriter. He's gonna write my rhymes, and he's gonna teach me how to rap.
I'm gonna write my rhymes. I write my rhymes.
I write my own rhymes. I don't know. Vegas writes my rhymes. Vegas writes my. Anyway, all right. Thank y'all for listening, subscribing, liking us on social media.
Until next week, y'all.
Peace.
Take care.
Drop it on the random.